Let me start by giving you a long shot of my layout so far. That's from there. So that's basically what we're going to be talking about. Okay, this is the shot from the other side of that you've just seen. So these tracks here, that one goes over the other side, goes into the hillside. The white card represents the hillside. When we come down here, we have a small siding, which is to take just a parcel wagon or something like that, because this is West Haven Station. Now, West Haven Station is basically just a small branch line station, and it's going to be quite interesting because although quite small, it can have a few sort of buildings on it, odd buildings, people obviously, but this side here on the right hand side of the stations we're looking at, this is where the buses and taxis and independent cars, there won't be many in 1947, but they will be coming to pick up passengers who have just arrived. Tunnel entrance obviously in cardboard, that will look 1,000 times better when I finish with it. And of course we have the signal box, which is a card kit. But turned out quite nice. First one I've ever done, so I'm quite happy with that. Although I'm going to try and put some stanchions on the walkway around the front. Over here we have a road. Now this road comes into the layout through that tunnel entrance there, across the two tracks where it's going to be a level crossing. The road then comes into the area here, which comes up to the buses where they're picking up passengers, and also it now goes into the goods yard. So if I pull some buses out, okay, very difficult when you're doing things, looking through a camera and you're moving things by hand. So the buses and coaches, little coach companies, several coach companies actually, they'll be stationed there, as will taxis, the GPO single van, because I've only got one at the moment, and then on that side we have the coal staiths there, so we'll have lorries picking up coal. The actual track behind it, that's where the coal wagons come in, dislodge into the coal staiths. Coal office. This is the goods building, don't know what else you call it really. I call it goods yard, but of course the yard's the whole thing. So that's the goods building. This is just a platform outside the goods yard that will have a crane on it, etc. Now we've now got a big area here. Now this area here is for the lorries turning, coming in, etc, etc. This is an old Graham Farish, very heavy metal. I've taken all the bottoms off it. This is going to be the T-bar. It'll be suitably dressed up to look like a T-bar. Over here, this is where we have the end of the main station, the Castlebridge station. Coming off of one of the sidings will be this line here. Now this line here is what I'm going to call the scrap line. Anything in there is abandoned. It's going to be rusty, it's going to be the doldrums place, big grass growing up through it, bushes around, unkept, etc, etc. So that's the graveyard really. And then we come round here and we have the station. Now cutting back from the station, this is the sidings area. The sidings, that gap there is so that if you imagine this is a lorry, so a lorry can get in and unload from that wagon or unload from this wagon. So, you know, and just imagine that's a lorry, because I haven't got one here at the moment. So that's the lorry going up and down. These sidings will be quite close, so you can't do anything with them at all. These you can't get into either. This is now going to be coming off of the main line. So we're going to come in here, up one siding, we come down, we go into another siding, then we have a head shunt which takes us up there, then we can come down further, go into another siding, we come down further, we go into this siding that leads on to the T-bar, and the T-bar then we can reverse up, and now this is where we go into the engine shed. So water, coal goes along, double engine shed will be here, if you can understand that. And I think I've made provision for another short siding to go there to stable whatever has to be stabled. Over here at the end of Castlebridge we go into the sidings. Now that particular I haven't got a clue where to put that, to be honest with you, the passenger walkover bridge. I just haven't got a clue. But inside there, which you can't see at the moment, but it's in there, that's 4 rows of sidings in there, and that's all isolated by this little switch, and when I flick that switch then all of the power inside the sidings is dead. So if I have carriages that are illuminated, then I can put them in there, cut off the power, and that's doing that quite well. Let's just have a look at the plan. Alright, now, where's my stick? So at the moment, I am standing just about here, okay? And you're looking at where the sidings were going up there, and that's where the sidings were going into the bit you've just seen cut off. This is Castlebridge Station, and as we get around here you can see that's the sidings where I can get the road in and pick up wagons. This is our goods building and our coal staves, and that's our coach stop. And then we have the things down here that have changed round. I must go back and show you that. Buses for Westhaven Station, it's Westhaven Station, little goods siding going in there, and around we go back to Castlebridge again. Now let me just take you over to where the road comes in again, because what I wanted to do was to have a disused railway line. This disused railway line is going to go back into the hillside, so we won't see that end of it. But this will be, possibly the railway line won't be there because it was used in the war effort, but I'll put all the ballast down, then pull it up so you can see where everything was. This particular sort of bit here was a stone wall, so that's all now going to be crumbled and fenced off, so nobody will be able to get into there. And that's just going to be a little sort of bridge that the trains have to come under. We can do lots of grass up there, and we can put a lot of rust around the side of the bridge, etc, etc. It's going to be nice to play with, if you get my mean. Now the next thing I'm going to show you is going to be my town. Give me a second to play with all this. Okay, we're almost there. These columns that you can see, they're supporting the town. Now obviously that bit of wood is just temporary to see what it was like. What is going to happen is that the town will have a pavement here and then a roadway which is going to take traffic backwards and forwards. Then over there that will be another pavement, and then from there to the back wall that will be houses, sorry, not houses, that will be shops, and the shops will run all the way along the high street. How I'm going to finish this end off I do not know, and how I'm going to finish off that end up there I do not know, but these things just going to come to me, I hope, while I'm playing with the rest of it. Now my whole idea for this side of the high street is there's going to be like an old-fashioned turreted wall, and gaps in the middle of it, of sort of 6-foot gaps, which will be iron railings, so people on the pavement can look over and they can look down onto the goods yard and they can see all the movements of the engines and stuff like that. As a young boy, it's the one thing I used to love doing when I was down in Plymouth. So that's going to be quite nice. Also along here, trees, 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 trees. So it'll be a whole line of trees, maybe a tree every 20 foot or something like that, all the way along there. So that will disguise lots of the road, so you won't actually see a lot of the road and a lot of the buses and the lorries and little private cars, but you'll be able to sneak a preview of them through the trees, and hopefully that's going to make it look really nice and interesting. So that is basically how I envisage my layout ending up. And if you can hear that squeak, that's one of those carriages over there. It's I mean, they're not new, I've had them about 20-30 odd years. One of them squeaks, so I'm very sorry about that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to divert the train. I'm going to go down here and alter my point over there. When you want it to work, why doesn't it? So we'll just do that by hand, I think. That's going to go into the tunnel, and I think you'll appreciate the effect of when it comes out. There's my manually operated point. Manually operated point. Works very, very well. So, into the tunnel. Now at that point I can stop the train, but the other trains come round and do a couple of circuits, and then it comes out of the tunnel. And that's just one of the little things to make the whole experience of what you do with the trains and how you run them a little nicer, different. You can put things going faster, slower. I could have a goods train stuck in the hillside if I liked, and then when I wanted to I can just pull the goods train out as the express has gone past. That's about all at the moment. I hope you've enjoyed the little tour. And I've got a lot more work to do, but it's all work to be interested in. Thank you very much.